What's up, guys? Welcome to Good Game Grabs. My name is Ray. Some people call me Nabyart. This is your first time here, probably, if you're watching this series called Sunday School. I really wanted to make this video a sit-down video where I have basically a script and I talk to you guys, and it's very professional and all that good stuff. But here's some of what it looked like in the process. Guy that pops out over several weeks on Sunday, and hence the name Sunday School. And hopefully you guys will get to your first sale sooner than you know. Now, and I want to, gosh dang, dude. Sunday School. Maybe think about the fact that you already work oh my God. So before we dive into selling thrifted goods on eBay, like the goods you see behind me, we will talk about, So moral of the story is I just can't do it. I just can't do a scripted episode, guys. Whenever I create content, I just want it to come from the heart and just flow, and I just want to be myself, and I don't want to script anything. I don't want to be awkward, all that good stuff. So listen, guys, we're going to drop episodes every Sunday. So be sure to hit that sub button, hit the notification bell, and we're going to just basically, be bros from you literally knowing nothing about selling thrifted goods on eBay to getting your first sale on eBay. I'm going to hold your hand the entire way. I'm going to tell you every mistake that I've made. I've been reselling now for over 2 years. I've been in the reselling community, for quite some time now, and just learning knowledge from everybody. So like I said, I'm just freestyling this one, guys. So bear with me. If you guys have any questions at all, please hit me in the comments section. You can also click the link to go to our Discord server. It's absolutely free. You guys can come in there, ask myself, other resellers, questions. Please ask us questions. We are there. Super fun, welcoming community of people, and we would love to have you guys in there asking us questions about your reselling journey. So enough chit chat. Let's talk about episode 1, which is going to be time and space. Let's talk about laying the groundwork for your reselling journey of selling thrifted goods on eBay. You see a lot of stuff behind me. This is all thrifted stuff. This is a giant shelf of stuff. Okay. You guys need space for this stuff. We have a lot, okay? We do, but you guys need space, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the time that you need to invest in your reselling journey as a part-time reseller, as a full-time reseller, all that good stuff. Let's get into that beautiful footage. All right, so now that I'm comfortable and in my element, let's just talk about time and space. So behind me, you guys can see these shelves right here. This is actually where I store just my clothing, not even the hard goods and the media and all the other stuff that we sell. So making sure that you have the space to do things is especially important. Also, right over there, my clothes listing station. That's just for clothes. That's not, again, including where I take all of my hard goods to get, listed and taken pictures of and unlisted and all that good stuff. So having the space is especially important, guys. I cannot iterate enough that I am so lucky to have basically an entire basement at my disposal. Our house doesn't have a huge footprint, but it has enough for me to operate down here and feel good about the space, be able to move fairly freely down here. When we first started, guys, this was a wreck down here, and it was hard to move. The workflow didn't feel very good, but we're almost at the point now where everything is just flowing like butter, and there's not a better feeling as a reseller to have your space just organized and flowing well, and you can be the most productive that you can be. And I think that having that set up as a new reseller is super important. So to give you guys an example of what I started out when I was a reseller was literally just this shelf. I actually bought this shelf from a local Goodwill, a regular Goodwill thrift store, and I paid maybe 12 or 15 bucks for it. Just a simple basic plastic shelf, and I put all of my items on it, very unorganized. It's still a little unorganized right now. I do have my media kind of set up right down here. I've got VHS that are sealed over there, some books over there. remotes that I keep in this little bin. So that can give you an idea of like what you would need to start out, just in your journey, is just get a shelf. It's simple, it's cheap. Just have a shelf. This is version 2 of my hard goods listing station, but not much has changed from the original. The only other thing is I stand now, so I'm more elevated, and it just helps my productivity, my workflow. But I basically have these left over. These are like these slot and tongue and groove flooring panels from the old owners of my house. When they installed their flooring, they had extras, so they were gracious enough to leave me these, and I just screwed them into the window frame over there, and then to the base down here past this VCR DVD combo. But this is it, guys. Like, it's a nice neutral background. That's all you really need. You could obviously have a little bit of smaller space too if you wanted. Just some basic lighting up top as well. I just have this clamp light right here, and then I have a ring light over here. These are very inexpensive, but I will leave a link down below. You guys can click on that and purchase a ring light just like this. You could also probably mount one up top too, or you can just buy a cheap clamp light and a cheap light, and it makes your space nice and bright. And we'll talk more about like editing pictures and stuff like that later on. And then of course you have the time aspect. We all have lives. We have families and friends, and maybe you have another job even that you're working part-time or even full-time. Obviously this guide is going to be aimed at, people that even want to do part-time reselling. Not everybody, jumps feet first into this game. I certainly didn't. I held on to my day job for about 6 months or so until I felt comfortable enough to kind of cut the cord and go into my full-time reselling career. Glad I did it, by the way. I spent 10 years in food service, and man, it really sucked the soul out of me. So I am so glad to be a reseller now. So my normal day kind of goes like this. In a perfect world, I wake up, I do my normal things, I brush my teeth and all that good stuff, and I come downstairs into the thrift dungeon, as we call it, and I get to work on listing my 10 to 15 items a day. Now, that again does take me anywhere from 1 to 4 hours, depending on if I need to test anything, if I need to clean anything, if I have to do both of those things to items, which does happen. If I'm listing clothes over here, that process usually goes very fast because I've now gotten used to how to do my pictures for clothing. I can get through the measurements of the clothing really fast, and I know how to do things on the computer side, which speeds up the process so much. I do all of my hard good listings by phone, and we'll get into both of those styles later, those styles of listing later. But so 1 to 4 hours for listing, and then I'll spend probably, including the drive time to my post office and or the UPS drop-off station, probably about another 2 hours in picking and packing all of my stuff, getting it to the post office, dropping off UPS stuff if it needs to go UPS. And then after that, I spend accumulatively probably about, anywhere from, 10 minutes to maybe 45 minutes to an hour doing customer service. It just depends how many people message me that day, how much feedback I have to leave. You can also automate feedback if you want. We'll get into that as well. But, just set aside, at least 30 minutes for customer service. The more items that you have in your store, the more likely you are to be messaged by somebody asking about a certain measurement on clothing, or does this item have a crack here? It looks kind of wonky in the picture, whatever that may be. So all in all, for a beginner reseller, I think that honestly, if you could block out, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours a day, you can make a part-time living at reselling 100% for sure. You don't have to source every single day. I will say that, I like going to the Goodwill bins, and those trips usually take me about 2 hours. I've basically made a living off only going to the Goodwill bins. I hardly go to any retail thrift stores anymore because the ones that are close to my area are not that good, don't score very much. And the Goodwill bins just has everything in one place. It has media, it has clothes, all that good stuff, hard goods. I mean, it just has everything in one place, and I pay for it by the pound. We're going to talk so much about the Goodwill bins later. Don't you worry. We're going to definitely talk about those later. But if you guys were to set aside 2 to 4 hours, I think that would be a good chunk of time a day. And even not every day. You could set aside 4 hours every third day of the week. And you could probably even throw sourcing in there too, if you have enough thrift stores around you. But if you guys can write out a mock schedule for yourself and just sort of plan your at least next 2 to 3 days, what that looks like, you don't even have to plan out a full week, because, things arise, things happen, somebody's got to go here, you got to take something there, whatever that may be, at least be able to plan out the next 2 to 3 days, or at least plan out 2 to 3 days a week just dedicated to reselling, and not just the entire day, but a section of those days for reselling. It will help you kind of see the bigger picture of what your day could look like. I typically spend anywhere from like an hour to 4 hours listing. It just depends on what I'm listing and how much testing it takes, how much cleaning it takes, all that good stuff. That's definitely going to factor in. Also, how many items you sell a day is a huge thing as well. So, most of you guys that are just starting out, you want to aim for like 3 to 5 items a day. That's just a good, reasonable amount. You can do more if you have the time and the space, but I recommend just starting at 3 to 5 items a day. That'll take you hopefully no more than an hour or two. And then we have to move into the time that it takes you to pack things up and take them to the post office. So, if you guys do work a day job, like let's say you work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's literally the time of most post offices' business hours. So if you're not going to be able to make it to the post office on a normal business day, Monday through Friday, you might be in a little bit of trouble. If you guys, have to put on 3-day processing on your eBay store, which we'll get into more of that later, you can do that. But you want to aim for that like 1-day processing where, it really does attract your buyer because they know that their item is going to be shipped out quick. I know that's a lot for you guys right now. We'll get more into that later, but just something to be mindful of is, hey, can I even have the time to pack up, 3 to 5 items a day, or maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. But if you have the time to do that and get to the post office and have time to sourcing can take anywhere from 1 hour at the Goodwill bins to 5 hours driving around to every thrift store in town, driving to garage sales on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. Are you willing to wake up at 7 a.m. and get to a garage sale before anyone else does? Because let's be real, guys, like it is very important that you get there first. I think that's something that a lot of other content creators in this space do recommend, is just getting there before anybody else does, so you can get the deal before anyone else. So thank you guys for bearing with me today in my journey of trying to do a scripted episodes, because this is a series. But thank you guys so much for bearing with me. Again, if you guys have any questions, any comments, please hit us in the comment section down below. Hit us up in the Discord. Let us know what you think of the series. We're so excited to help you guys along on your reselling journey. But until then, we will see you later on the next grab, and we'll see you later on the next Sunday for another installment of Sunday School. Peace out, guys.